Hello everyone, I'm Michael Cheek and welcome to Guitar Anatomy 101, or that's what we're going to call this first lesson here. One of the most important steps, critical steps in learning the guitar, especially if you're a beginner, is learning the anatomy of the guitar, or just the parts that are on the guitar. For one, it's just good general knowledge so you know what someone else is talking about, or you can talk about the guitar intelligently to someone else if you know the parts of the guitar. But also during the other lessons that you'll watch on my website, you'll know what I'm speaking about. If I've got a landmark that I'm pointing towards, if I say the bridge, go towards the bridge, and you don't know where the bridge is on the guitar, then you won't know what I'm talking about. So this will actually help in the videos to come. So I've got several guitars here to use as an example, but we're going to start with this acoustic guitar first. Okay? Now obviously you probably already guessed we've got the strings here on the guitar. Most guitars have 6 strings, some of them have more. All the ones I'm going to use today are 6-string guitars, okay? And the strings go in order from the thickest string to the skinniest. They are named by the note that they play when you pluck the string without pressing any fingers down. Okay, so when I pluck this thickest string here, it plays an E note, so we call it the E string. We actually call it the low E string because even though it's on top physically of the guitar, it plays the lowest note. So this is the low E string. The next one is the A string. Next one is the D string, G, B, and then finally the high E string because it plays the highest E. So E, A, D, G, B, E. One easy way to remember that I use with my students a lot, that they seem to remember pretty well because it's kind of funny, is you memorize E, A, D, G, B, E with the sentence, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. There's some other funny ones out there, but that one seems to work pretty good for me. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. E, A, D, G, B, E. So those are your string names. You definitely want to memorize those. It's one of the most important parts of this lesson, is memorizing those notes. And when I go to the electric guitar in a second, it'll be the exact same notes, okay? E, A, D, G, B, E. Memorize that. Okay, now as far as some of the other parts of the guitar, on the acoustic here, we've got a sound hole right here. And that's basically just called the sound hole because that's what amplifies the guitar strings. When I pluck a string, the sound vibrations, the sound waves, go in that sound hole, resonate this entire guitar body here, and come back out louder. Okay? So that's why the acoustic can be played loudly without an external amplifier being used. So that's the sound hole. If you've got a design around your sound hole, if you've got an acoustic too, this is usually called a rosetta. This darker piece of plastic right here, I'm going to move my guitar up a little bit. This darker piece of plastic right here that's glued onto the guitar body is called the pick guard. That's so if we use a pick, we don't scratch our expensive wood guitars. Electrics have pick guards, acoustics have pick guards. Now, a lot of the guitar can be remembered like a person. Okay, if you stand it up, basically, let me shift it down a little bit. At the top here, we have the head. You can call this the peg head, or just the head of the guitar. And I'm going to continue with that theme. You've got the head. Here you've got the neck. As you go down, just like on a person, as you go down, you have the body. This is the entire body of the guitar. Where it goes in right here, just like on a person, this is called the waist of the guitar. So you've got the body, the waist, moving up. You've got the neck and the head. Okay? This is the same on an electric guitar as well. Okay? Now, that is pretty easy to remember. There's a couple of names here that just don't make a lot of logical sense. They're just called what they're called. Okay? Now, this here looks like a white piece of plastics. On older guitars, it might be ivory or some kind of, on newer guitars, some kind of space-age polymer, resin, self-lubricating thing. They can be made out of a lot of different things, but that's called the nut. That's what the strings are pulled down against before they go in this spindle here, okay? So this is called the nut. At the other end of the attachment point of the strings down here, this whole assembly down here is called the bridge. Okay, so that's assembly here. This is called the bridge. That's when I said earlier, if I said you're playing a note and I want you to go up this way, I might say go towards the bridge a couple of frets. That means go this way. Or go towards the head. That means go this way. So that's where the landmarks can come in handy. This smaller piece of plastic inside the bridge here is called the saddle. This is what your strings actually are pressed against, and it's kind of like the nut on this end though, okay? So essentially when you pluck the string open, that string is ringing from this exact point here on the saddle to the nut right here where the string is going across it, unless you press down the string somewhere up higher on the neck. Okay, now you've got the bridge, saddle, the nut, the head. These are tuning keys. If you've got your guitar in tune, you want to make sure you don't touch these. Don't lay it against the wall or just lay it down on your bed or something like that to where these tuning keys can get moved. Just barely moving one actually changes the pitch of the string quite a bit. So you don't want to mess with these if it's already in tune. We'll cover tuning in another lesson. Now, let me see, what else am I forgetting? You got your tuning keys, your head or peg head. This is sometimes called the peg head because sometimes people will call these the tuning keys. Look at the back of the guitar, probably the same on yours, something similar. It's basically got an enclosed mechanism here that has some gears in here that amplify your mechanical advantage, so you can tune these strings easily. Okay, so those are the tuning pegs or tuning keys. So this can be the head or the peg head. Now, this part is very important. On top of the neck, we've got frets. Okay, and really the fingerboard is the top surface of the neck here, and on that fingerboard we have frets. Now, frets, when I say frets, we're actually referring to the space in between these metal strips. Okay, so if I say point to the first fret, you're going to point to the space right here, not the actual wire. Okay, you actually want to point to the space. So there's first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth, fifth. Okay, the wires are called fret wires. When you hold down a note, and we'll cover this more in another lesson, when you hold down a note, you actually press down in the space behind that fret wire. Okay, so you don't want to be on top of it. So if I said go to the 7th fret, we count from this end up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so those are the frets. Like I mentioned before, these wires are the fret wires. And most of you probably will have some form of position marker or fret marker on your guitar. Those are these dots, usually at odd numbers until you get to the 12th fret, you have a double dot. So we have 3, 5, 7, 9, and then we skip to 12, okay, and then it's 13, 14, 15, okay, so they don't mark 13 because it's right next to the 12th. I'll explain why there's a double dot there at the 12th fret later, but for now, you just know that. It's a way for you to quickly find frets. If somebody says the 5th fret, boom, I know right where to go because it's the second dot. I don't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or the 9th fret, boom, right there. It's the last single dot before I hit 12. Okay, so that's what those are for. A lot of times they'll be marked on the top of your guitar. If you get that closer, you can see the little dots. There's a dot there, there's a dot there, dot there. You can see those pretty well. Okay, so let me think. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. That's pretty good for the acoustic here. I've got another example of a different kind of acoustic here. This is an old guitar I like to play blues on sometimes. Okay, and this one for the most part is the same. It looks a lot different, but most of the parts of this guitar are the same as my other acoustic. There's one glaring difference. That's the sound hole. I don't have a sound hole here in the middle. I have F holes here on the side. So what that does is basically the same thing as the round sound hole in the middle. It allows sound to get in and then back out of this guitar so it can be amplified. But the guitar, other than that, is the same. I've got a waist, a body, a bridge assembly. This assembly is a little different. But even with minor variations, the guitars are pretty much the same. Okay, let me put that one up. That's an example of another acoustic. Now let me pick up this electric here. This might be kind of shiny in the camera. I know this white comes off kind of bright, but this is an electric guitar. For the most part, this is the same as the acoustic, except the way it amplifies itself. So this guitar is going to be a little heavier because this body is solid wood. It's not hollow, so it's heavier, but it's actually a little bit smaller too. So for smaller guitar players, you can put your arm around it. For younger guitar players especially, it works really well. The strings are not pulled as tight on the guitar, so they're easier to press down, and you can bend them, meaning I can push the string or pull it down a lot easier than you can on the acoustic. Now, one other difference you may notice here is on this specific electric guitar, I've got a tuning key assembly that puts all the tuning keys on the top instead of 6 on top and 6 on bottom. That makes no difference for your playing. It's just the way the tuning keys are set up. But this is still my head or my peg head, tuning keys, neck, nut, frets, fret markers or position markers. I've got a body. I've got the waist. I've got the bridge assembly, the bridge. However, a couple of big differences here, obviously, are the pickups. I have magnetic coil pickups here, and these are how this guitar amplifies itself. Okay, I'm going to grab another guitar just so it is not so bright in the camera. Here we go. This is not actually mine. I'm borrowing it. But you can see a little bit different looking guitar, but everything's pretty much the same. So we've got pickups. We've got a pick guard here. It's just bigger. Here we've got a volume knob and 2 tone knobs. I'll talk more about that in another video, what they actually do. Here's an input. This is where you plug in the guitar and then run the other end of the cord into your amplifier if you have one. And let me think, am I forgetting anything? Oh yes, on this style of electric guitar, we've got what are called horns. Those are these, I mean, they look just like horns, so you shouldn't forget that one. But those are cut out to allow your hand space to get up higher on the guitar neck if you're playing some notes way up here high on the neck. Okay, so that's why the horns are cut out here. Also, this one has a strap button right here, you can see. So you attach one end of the strap to that, and then the other end to the bottom, and it goes around you. But that's pretty much all the parts of the guitar, unless I'm forgetting something. But there's one more example I'll show you just real quickly. There's another guitar I have. And you'll notice that this pickup is slightly fatter than these two. It's actually double the size. It's called the humbucker pickup versus single coil pickups. We'll learn more about those later too. One last thing. There are different kinds of picks, but here's a pick. You want to get a package of these if you don't have them already. These are good to learn on. These are Dunlop Tortex picks. I like them a lot, but it doesn't really matter the brand you get. You just pick the one that you like. Pick the pick you like. And anyways, that's enough for this video. If you have any questions, you can always email me at feedback@mikesguitarlessons.com. If you're done with this video and you think you've learned everything you need to know, go ahead and go to the next video. Don't forget to stop back from time to time and look at the list of videos, because as I do all these videos one after another, I might slip one. I won't always put the newest one at the end. I might think of something that needs to go earlier in the progression. So check back and look for new videos from time to time. Thanks for watching, and good luck.